Here we go. All right, guys. So once again, I'm going to briefly tell you what we're going to do today. We plan on doing chapter 1, section 1 and section 2. If we cannot finish section 2, that's fine. No pressure. A couple of other important things. Okay. So I'm going to share with you, and you want to make sure you understand what I'm trying to say. Those of you who are going to watch the clip later, and I'm talking to you guys as well. All right, so let me share with you a couple of very important things. This is our course right here. What did I do? And I know this one I'm repeating. I made a nice short clip where it shows how you have to enter your answers using the math format. I'm not going to go over the video. You're going to watch it. If you don't enter it properly, I will take, even if the answer is correct, I will take off half of your points. So make sure you understand that. I cannot read it, and it's not just for me, it's for you too. You can't read it, you mess up. I've seen it last exam. That's part 1. Part 2. Part 2 is kind of important. Okay, if you go to quizzes, you're going to see something called No Credit Exam 1. It's going to be open for a long time. It's basically, guys, exam 1, the exact same exam 1 that you have already taken. Why am I putting it here? If you want to practice, if you want to get a feel for it, you can take it 10 times, 10 as in 1, 0, 10. And if you want me to, I won't grade it. Okay. If you want me to grade it, you have to email me. So could you grade? I took exam 1 again. Could you grade? The answers are going to show up and everything. Those of you, a couple of you, of course, I'm not going to use names. A couple of you missed the first exam. What will happen? Your final will replace your first exam score. Please don't miss more than 1 exam. It's going to have a pretty serious consequence on your grade because you're going to lose 20%. So you're losing 2 grade points. You're going 2 grade points down. Only 1 exam, and I know I'm repeating myself. It's clearly written in my course outline. It's worth repeating. 1 exam will be replaced with your final. Now, if you haven't taken the first exam and you want to take it, go take it. Ask me to grade it. I will grade it. The grade you get will not go to your grade book. Make sure you understand that. That's why I separated it. I copied the exam just so that you understand. I copied the same exam, but it's not connected to any grading. So don't say I wasn't clear. I'm being very clear. You won't get a grade. I will grade it. You could get 100 out of 100 on exam 1, no credit exam 1. You won't get any credit. So those of you who have taken it and you want to play with it, you want to see what it looks like. Can you enter? You want to practice. So you have a sample exam you can practice with. You have another exam you can practice with. And the reason I did it, so this one will show all the questions, and in one specific order. You can take it 10 times. The order won't change. And you can kind of get a feel for how to enter complicated answers. Another little tip, I would suggest 1 or 2 of you try to show me all the steps. And that's a good thing, right? In class, that's what we say. But on the computer, for some reason, when you show me too many steps and they're complicated, it jams the system. It doesn't show. Something bad happened. And I think somebody wrote something like, it's not going to take my last answer. So give me the final answer. So try to understand this. We are doing it via online. So computers have limitations. Everything has limitations. Even coming to class has limitations. Physically has some problems. You could get sick, blah, blah, blah. You live far away. So try to be aware of that. I think 2 people wanted to show me a lot of lines, and I appreciate that. I think that's a very good gesture. But it's going to clog your system. Okay, then you may not be able to see the next problem. Just give me the final answer that you think is the final answer nicely. Okay, any questions, guys, up to this point? Any questions? Okay, another important thing, and you have to listen to me very carefully. In the course outline, it says you need a graphing calculator for this course. Okay. Now, since this is online, we will talk about a site called Desmos. I'm not going to spell it for you now. You're going to see it when I go there. You will have access to it. When you take the exam, you can go to Desmos. Desmos does almost everything that this does. I think Desmos does it better, and it's free, and you will have access to it during the exam. Feel free to use it. So what am I trying to say? If you have a graphing calculator and you're going to use it, I'll show you some of those things. Okay. Some of those things will be, I think it blurs my thing, but you get the point, just a regular TI-83, 84. Now, the stuff I have on my computer is 84 plus. 83 is very similar. Most of you have 84 plus. Nobody uses 83 anymore. So even though in the course outline it may say 83, I will show you both. Okay. We don't have, anybody wants to say if they want to use their calculator or Desmos. Let me go to Desmos and show you what it's like. Anybody wants to share? I'm going to go over Desmos. I'm going to go over graphing calculator. I know most of you know plenty about graphing calculators. So who's going to say what they think they will use? Just to get a feel for where people are. There's a, oh, you can't see my screen.
So you're asking us what graphing calculator that we'd
If
use?
you're going to use, correct. If you're going to use a graphing calculator, let me double check. If you're,
And I guess I'd try and use my TI-84.
okay. All right. So I'll go over TI-84, no problem. Anybody else wants to share which one they will use? Anyone else wants to tell us? Just to get a feel for where people are. If I'm showing you, if nobody will use graphing calculator, I wouldn't, but already one person said they would. So we're good. We're going to go over it. Who else is going to share, guys?
I do use Desmos.
You're going to go with Desmos. And may I know your name again?
Cicely.
Sorry?
Cicely.
Got it. Thank you, Cicely. Who else is going to tell me what he or she would do? Anyone else? Just to get a feel for based on people who are here. I know it's a bigger class, bigger than the number of people who are here. Anyone else? Okay. So I'm going to go over both, and don't worry too much. We're not going to do all of this today. We will barely scratch the surface of graphing, but from the next class, by the way, you guys can see my screen. Am I correct? Can somebody tell me?
Yes.
Awesome. So let me go back to regular stuff. Okay. I have the Desmos here. I have the quiz stuff here. I don't need it. I'm going to go back to our course. Let me go back and show you what we're doing today. Same old, you know, we're going to pull a slide from your book and talk about it a little bit, then do some problems. That's the goal today. Ideally, 1.1, 1.2 are available on MATLAB. You can start working on them by the end of today. So this is 1.1. There's not a whole lot going on. Okay, I can actually jump on the problems if I want to, but I won't. I won't. Just a little bit of introductory definitions. Okay, this is called a plane, P-L-A-N-E. Okay, Cartesian plane, and all right. So this is called a plane, P-L-A-N-E. Cartesian. I can do better. Cartesian, see if I can spell it. Cartesian plane. All right, so that's fine. We're not going to ask you what's a Cartesian plane, okay? So Cartesian, I hope I spelled it right, but we're going to keep our fingers crossed. Okay, now this is a plane. Basically, this is the x-axis. This is the y-axis. And this is called the origin. All right. And this point right here, this little black point right here. Well, let me see if I can do a little better job. Okay. Give me 1 second. This little little star here. I know it's not perfect. I mean, I'm not going to waste my time making it perfect. You get the point. This star has coordinates 1. You always write the x coordinate first, and 3. All right, let's take another star. This star, which is in the second quadrant, it's called a quadrant, the second quarter. This is the first quarter, sorry. This is the first quarter. This is the first quarter, called the first quadrant. This is the second quarter, second quadrant, third quarter, third quadrant, fourth quarter, fourth quadrant. I don't know why they could have said first quarter. They don't. Why did they choose it this way? Why does it start here and then goes here, here, here? We don't know. That's how they did it. That's how we're going to do it. Doesn't make any difference how we did it differently. So this point, the coordinates are -4 and +1. A couple of things to observe. In the first quadrant, both x and y are positive. In the second quadrant, x is negative, y is positive. In the third quadrant, x and y are both negative. In the fourth quadrant, x is positive and y is negative. Do you have to memorize it? Not really. If you do understand, it starts with 0, goes up. It starts with 0, goes up. You can just draw a brief sketch and you'll be in good shape. Okay. Brief introduction. It's something we expect you guys to know. It's not something we will directly test you on. I'm going to pause here a little bit to see if people have any questions. And the word Cartesian comes from a famous philosopher, Descartes. He was a French philosopher. His last name was used. He came up with it. Cartesian Descartes is very well known in both math and philosophy. All right, guys, let's see if we can move on. And if we can't, you have to tell us, hey, can you explain that again? I didn't get it. And that's totally okay. All right. It's something I've already done, okay? But it's here in your book. I copied it. Maybe we should talk about it. So basically, the point -5 and 3 is this one. Is this point. And the point 3 and -5 is this one. Why? This is 3, x coordinate, -5, y coordinate. This is -5, x coordinate, +3, y coordinate. Makes sense. We have done it with the other slide. Nothing too fancy. All right, moving on. All right, so this is gonna, how to put it? I can just, no, I'll take it to the other page. It's kind of fun. So let me take these 4 pictures. So we're gonna be graphing a lot in this section. And these are examples of graphs. We will see some of them, okay? Basically, they're telling us, what do we mean by x-intercept? Let me make it a little bigger for you guys, okay? X-intercept and y-intercept. Well, x-intercept is the point where the graph cuts the x-axis. Okay, x-intercept. There's only one x-intercept, there's no y-intercept. Obviously, y-intercept is the point where the graph cuts or intersects the y-axis. Okay, and this one, there's only one y-intercept and there is no x-intercept. This one has neither, no x, no y. And this one has 3 y-intercepts, 1, 2, and 3, and it only has 1 x-intercept. So we are trying to understand what we mean by x-intercept or septs and what we mean by y-intercept or y-intercepts. You can have multiple of both. here is an example. So this is my XY plane. Let's say I have a graph that looks like this. So this graph has only one y-intercept and several x-intercepts. Let me change the color to red. X-intercepts are in red. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. The graph I drew doesn't look pretty, but this has 6 x-intercepts and only one y-intercept. Now I'm going to pause here a little bit to see if people have any questions about x and y intercepts. Just a couple of minutes to help you kind of process what's going on.
So, never mind.
Did you answer your question, Jack?
Yeah. So, yeah. I get it now. None of them are wrong. We're just learning what has y-intercepts, what has x-intercepts. That's it.
Correct. We are trying to understand what those terms mean. That's correct. That's all. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
You will eventually find them mathematically, but not today. Not today. All right. Anything else, guys? Wonderful. These are examples from book. I'm not going to go do the next one. Oh, this one is interesting, guys. I know you can see this. This has the intercept is the origin, which is both the x-intercept and the y-intercept. So it's kind of interesting. I'm not going to take it to my other page and draw, and you can see it. This point is both x and y-intercepts. So origin, if a graph goes through the origin, it has exactly one x-intercept, it has exactly one y-intercept, and it's the same. All right, so guys, the plan is to do some of these problems, okay? Grab the problems from your book, okay? There's not a whole lot going on here. I'm gonna do a couple. It almost is very elementary. So X is, let me grab that first. So they're saying graph each equation in exercise XB. Okay, we'll graph it. Okay, well, let me think about it, how we do it. We're gonna graph it the old-fashioned way. That's what they're telling us, and we'll do it so you get a feel for it. Let me see. Let me do a difficult one. Let me do something with an absolute value, okay? And be a little patient with me. I'm gonna do this one. Okay, eventually we're going to do it on the computer. Okay, but today we're going to do it by hand. Why? So that you know what it is that we're doing. I'm going to go back and forth to get those points, -3, -2, and all that. Okay, so this is my graph. I want to graph it. I do need a slide that I have. I need to bring it here. Let me see if I can bring it here. Oh, this is the one I'm looking for. Give me 1 second. Okay. So okay, so this is my equation. This is my coordinate plane. And I'm going to go back to the question and be a little patient, guys. And let me do the problem right here because my graph will look a little nicer. So read the top. It says, let x be -3, -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so let's try it. -3, -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, 3. Let's do it here. So we're going to go like this. I don't know how you guys want me to do it, but it seems like more people are doing it vertically. I'll do it vertically. Let me see, no, let's just do it horizontal. No, that's fine. We'll do it vertically. Okay, I'm going to write X here. And I'm going to write my Y values here. My question, if you go back, it says -3, -2, and yeah, this is too many, -1, 0, 1, 2, 3. So what I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to first find the values of y. I like 0, 1, 2, 3 first. Let's start with this. When x is 0, absolute value of 0 is 0. 0 minus 1 is minus 1. When x is 1, the absolute value of x, I'm using this equation, 24, problem 24, absolute value of x is 1, 1 minus 1 is 0. When x is 2, this is positive 2, 2 minus 1 is 1. When x is 3, absolute value of x is 3, 3 minus 1 is 2. And now I have to be a little more careful about the negative signs. Let's start with negative 3. Absolute value of negative 3 is 3, 3 minus 1, which is 2. Absolute value of 2 is 2, 2 minus 1 is 1. Absolute value of 1 is 1, 1 minus 1 is 0. I have to carefully plot these points on my Cartesian plane. How do I do that? Let me try this. So when it doesn't matter where you start, I'm going to start with negative 3. When x is negative 3, y is 2. X is negative 3, y is 2. Not going to be perfect, this star. When x is negative 2, y is 1. When x is negative 2, y is 1. This is my second point. When x is 1, y is 0. X is 1, y is 0. That's on the x-axis. That's my third point. When x is 0, y is negative 1. That's right here. When x is 1, y is 0. Right here. When x is 2, y is 1. 2 and 1 goes here. When x is 3, y is 2. 3 and 2 goes here. Almost done. Now, I'm going to generally, when they say draw a graph, you're supposed to draw a line. And roughly speaking, I'm going to move it. Don't worry. This is roughly what it should be like. It's not perfect. It's a V-shaped curve. Who's going to tell me the curve that I just drew? Let me get, well, no, I'll leave the square stars in. Who's going to tell me how many intercepts does the curve have? And how many x-intercepts, how many y-intercepts? Who's going to tell us that, guys? Anyone?
Is it? Oh,
Go ahead. Go ahead. I'll listen to both of you. You can go ahead, whoever was first. I don't care who goes first, but I'll listen to both of you. I think two of you wanted to talk. Who's going
is
to?
it? It's Amara.
Amara, go for it.
Is it 2 intercepts at the X and 1 at the Y?
There you go. So let me summarize what Amara just said. These are the x-intercepts, and this is the y-intercept. Let's change the color. This is the y-intercept. Is that kind of what you're trying to say? Would you accept what I said, how I summarized your findings?
Yes.
Wonderful. Jack, did you want to say something? Go ahead, share your thing.
Oh, well, I thought we were just counting how many possible X and Y intercepts there were on the table. I noticed that you graphed them already. I was looking down while you were doing that.
Got it. Got it. So when we say x-intercept, we are talking about the points where the graph cuts the x-axis. When we say y-intercept, we are just
Yeah.
on the point where the graph cuts the y-axis, and these are just points on the graph, and there are 6 of them.
Could you please explain to me again how you got oh wait, you just plugged that number
Yeah.
into.
Yeah, let me do. Which one do you want me to show you? So let's
Well,
take.
no, I'm just double checking. Yeah, you just plugged 0 into the X, and then that's
Let's
how you
do
got.
it. Let's do it. So I'm saying y. This is my original one. Okay, I'm saying y. I'm not going to rewrite it. Y is equal to 0 minus 1. Absolute value of 0 is 0. Minus 1 is minus 1. Let's do one more. Let's do this one. Negative 3. How I got negative 3? You could ask me. Y equal to absolute value of negative 3 minus 1. What's absolute value of -3? We know absolute value of +3 is +3. Absolute value of -3 is also +3. And 3 minus 1 is 2. What do you think, guys? Does that answer your question?
Yeah,
I'll pause here a little bit.
and you got the -3 in the -2 and the -1 by, did you just put those numbers there?
I didn't, they're in the question. Let me show you. They came
Oh,
from
they are?
right here on top. For every graph,
Oh, okay.
they're
okay.
saying find the points where X is -3, -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, 3. That's where they came from. Now, of course, on the exam, I can change it. But here's the deal, guys. I probably won't ask you to do it on the exam. I can, okay? And it's very easy to do. All I have to do, I'm giving you a little more background than you need. All I have to do is ask you to do some write-up, either on your computer screen or on a piece of paper, take a little picture, upload it, but I won't do it. But it's something you do want to understand. That's all. Okay. How are we feeling, guys? Are we lost?
I'm good.
Good.
I'm good.
Good. Thank you. Let me show you. It's a good way to kind of get into whole graphing thing. Eventually, I will ask you to graph it. Okay. So I know this equation is here. And remember, it's y equal to x absolute value of x minus 1. Let's graph it on Desmos. See if we got the right answer. How close are we? Are we good enough? Blah, blah, blah. Absolute value of x minus 1. So I go here. I'm going to tell you a little more than you need. Now I have to get rid of these points. Okay. You won't understand where they're coming from, but you don't have to. But I unfortunately have to get rid of it because it's a little bit of a distraction. Anyway, so I want to enter y. I will show you on your calculator as well. And you enter absolute value like so, or just type in abs, then x, or you can do the whole vertical thing. I think that works too. I'm going to put x, and I think it was -1, if I'm not mistaken. Look, we got it. Not bad, not bad. So you just type in the absolute value bar. You can't see my keyboard, is just the vertical bar you have above your slash. On my keyboard, it's like the third one from delete. Delete key is number 1, then backspace, then that vertical bar. You just enter it, you have a graph. How easy. And trust me, these points match. Okay. And what can you do with it? What can you do with this Desmos? Well, you can do a lot, guys. Signing up is good. It's totally free. Let's see. A little bit of your background. I'm gonna do this one on Desmos, then so you can save this picture. You can play with it. We're gonna show you x-axis, y-axis later, not today. You can save this, make it, let's see, make it a little bigger, bold. Okay, then let's see what you can do. So this little, whatever that's called, wrench, I guess, you click that wrench and then you can do all sorts of things. I think you can save it to somewhere. You can go from radian to degree, but I'm not going to worry about it. I'm not going to log on right now. I think if you have signed up, you can save some of these pictures. Okay. Right now, if I really wanted to save it, I can always do my little snipping tool that comes with my computer. Your computer has it too. I can do all that. Okay. So it's a cool tool. We're going to gradually dig into it, not today. So let's go back. If we don't have any questions on the problem from the book, which we were supposed to do by hand, let me do one more. Let me do one more. Let me do, again, I choose the ones from the bottom. Let's try number 28, and we're going to do it both. First, we're going to do it by hand. We're going to do it on Desmos. All right, guys. Okay, guys, it's going to kick us out anytime. Okay, it's probably not a bad time to come back. So really quickly come back. We're going to jump out of this session. Okay, see you soon. We're not going anywhere. See you really soon, in less than 20 seconds.